Hi, let's learn Disney The Haunted Mansion Call of the Spirits game, a 2 to 6 player game by Prospero Hall, published by Funko Games. Players gain points by socializing with ghosts around the Haunted Mansion. Players collect ghost cards to make sets in front of them, which are worth different point values. Players want to avoid haunt cards, as the most haunted player will lose points. The goal of the game is to be the player with the most points at the end of the game. To set up, let's place the game board on the table. Then place the endless hallway piece in the middle of the game board so that it can rotate easily. Each player chooses a color and takes the corresponding mover and reference card. Let's set up a 3-player game. Just set your reference card in your own player area. The Haunted Mansion has 7 rooms to go to: the mausoleums, the crypt, the ballroom, the dining room, the attic, the graveyard, and the seance room. Everyone places their mover in the dead center of the board and the hitchhiking ghosts in the crypt. Take the deck of ghost cards, shuffle it, and place that in a face-down pile by the game board. Next, take the ghost cards, shuffle them, and place it in a face-down pile by the game board. Next, let's prepare the event deck. Remove the final round card and set it aside. Then randomly remove a number of cards equal to the number of players and put them back in the box. They will not be used this game. Then shuffle the remaining event cards. Take the bottom 3 cards and shuffle those together with the final round card. Then take those shuffled 4 cards and they will go on the bottom of the draw deck. Then place the event deck face down by the board. Take the 2 bidding tiles and place them by the board. And the player who most recently heard a ghost story takes the first player marker. The game is played in rounds. Each round consists of 2 phases. First, the event phase, and then the action phase. So of course, let's start with the event phase. At the start of each round, do the following in order. Draw the top card of the event deck and place it face up by the event deck. Then move the hitchhiking ghosts the amount of spaces indicated in the direction indicated. So in this case, the hitchhiking ghosts move 1 space clockwise. If a player is in a room that the hitchhiking ghost passes through, they must draw 1 haunt card. Any players in the room where the hitchhiking ghosts stop must draw 2 haunt cards. And it is only when the hitchhiking ghosts move through or into a room that players have to draw haunt cards. So if a player moves into that room, or the hitchhiking ghosts start moving from that room, you would not have to draw haunt cards. When a player gets 1 or more haunt cards, take one from the haunt deck. You may look at it and set it face down in your player area. Throughout the game, as you gain more haunt cards, other players can know how many cards you have, but not the values of the cards. And the owner of the card can recheck their cards at any time. And I'll explain why we don't want haunt cards when we get to the end game scoring. Once the hitchhiking ghosts have finished moving, it is time to put ghosts into the mansion. Start by drawing ghost cards equal to the number of players, then draw 3 more cards, regardless of player count. Then start placing cards by placing 2 cards in the room where the hitchhiking ghosts are. After that, place 1 card in each room clockwise until they have all been placed. And make sure that all cards are visible to all players. And finally, resolve the round condition once all this has been completed. The round card remains in effect until it is time to draw a new round card. After the event phase of a round comes the action phase. Starting with the player who has the first player marker, each player takes 1 turn, then the round ends. On your turn, you can choose 3 actions. move to an adjacent location, spin the endless hallway, collect a ghost card, duel once per turn, and once per turn, discard haunt cards. You can do these in any order, and for most of them, you can choose to do the action again. As established, there are 7 rooms, so when we choose to move into one of those adjacent rooms. As we can see here, we are in the Seance room. So if we wish to move into the dining room, we move one adjacent space over. So moving between rooms in the endless hallway is each one movement, as well as moving to and from the Seance room. Another action players may take is to rotate the endless hallway. Just be sure to keep borders lined up with borders when you are completed. The next action you can take is to collect a ghost card. And collecting sets of ghosts is how we get points for endgame scoring. And you can collect more than one, but each one requires one action. And if you collect a ghost card and it has an effect, you must resolve the effect immediately upon collecting the card. And if you are in a room with the hitchhiking ghosts and wish to take one of the ghost cards, you may, but you must also draw a haunt card for every ghost card you choose from the room they are in. Place each ghost card face up in front of you as a part of the set that it belongs to. If you are in the same room as another player, once per turn, you may use an action to duel them in an attempt to get one of their ghost cards. To do so, you must announce which player you will duel and which card you will attempt to steal. And now the 2 players have to bid to see who gets the card. Each bidder takes a bidding dial and chooses a number between 0 and 3. This number represents how many haunt cards you are willing to draw to get the card. When both players are ready, they each reveal their bid. Whoever has the highest bid gets the card. If there is a tie, the player who started with the ghost keeps it. And now, win, lose, or draw, both players must draw the amount of haunt cards they bid. And finally, once per round, if you are in the Seance room, you may choose one of your actions to discard a haunt card. You may choose which card to discard. Place all discarded haunt cards back at the bottom of the haunt deck. Once each player has performed their actions, the player who was first player takes the first player marker and passes it clockwise to the next player to begin the next round. Then start the new round by drawing the top event card and resolving its effects. When you finally draw the final round card, this is the final round. And put 3 extra ghost cards in the mansion. Once all players take their final turn, the game is over and scoring begins. Before scoring, add up your haunt value by adding up the values on your haunt cards. The player, or players if tied, with the highest haunt value discards the card type they have most of. If there is a tie for card of most type, then the player must discard the type that would give them the most points. Now each player adds up their points, and the player with the highest score wins. With some cards, you'll get a certain amount of points depending on the number of that type of card you have. Some scores fluctuate depending on the number of cards you have. Some cards require you to have a pair. Some cards simply give you a point value, but you had to have done the effect during gameplay. Some cards will give you points if you have 3 of a kind, or 1 of each kind. And some ghosts have special effects all to themselves. And that's all you need to know to get started playing Disney The Haunted Mansion Call of the Spirits game. So join me next time as I do a playthrough.